Is Battlefield 6 the game everyone says it is? Can it stand up to the nostalgia from games like Battlefield 1942 in Vietnam? And for the veterans like me who've been away from the series for more than a decade, will this be the Battlefield that finally brings us back? Personally, I haven't touched the Battlefield series in more than a decade. My fondest memories from the series are playing Battlefield 1942 in Vietnam with my friends, back when gaming was practically a full-time job. Back when there wasn't anything holding us back. No house appliances needing fixing, house needing maintenance, or family to prioritize. These days, I have all of that and more, and can only play for short periods at a time. On top of that, the community from my youth isn't there anymore, and so I find myself playing alone most of the time. So, with all that's changed, can Battlefield 6 create an environment where veterans like me can experience that sense of joy and excitement that we remember? The first thing I notice coming back to the game is how user-friendly everything is. From the user interface to the map layouts and the gameplay itself. It feels clean, easy, especially when compared to similar games in the genre that sometimes feel like they're actively trying to confuse you with a small ocean of different battle passes, rewards, and other confusing monetization nonsense. This accessibility makes it incredibly easy to just hop into a quick game without feeling like you need a degree in rocket science to locate the play button. In terms of the actual gameplay, I also find that I quite like the overall pacing of the game. The movement speed feels good. Not so fast you barely have time to see what's going on, but certainly no walking simulator either. And combined with the excellent map design and sizing, it makes the overall flow of the game feel really solid. That's not to say that the game doesn't at times feel frantic, because it very much can be, and fast reaction times will help keep you alive. But the fast reaction times are definitely not mandatory. Positioning and patience matters. The support roles feel genuinely impactful. Keeping your team alive and well stocked often feels more important than getting the most kills. Even vehicle combat seems to reward a more measured approach, rather than rushing into things and immediately getting blown up. And speaking of getting blown up, the environmental destruction in this game is really amazing. It may not be as advanced as what you'll find in games like the Finals, but it certainly does make the game world feel a lot more alive and dynamic. Walls, or even whole buildings that were there at the start of the game, may no longer be present after a few minutes of fighting. This creates some really cool scenes where buildings fall apart as you fire heavy weapons at them, or crumble around you while you're taking cover, and it makes the whole map feel a lot more alive and dynamic. I also feel like the class system works really well, and really makes teamwork and each individual on the team feel much more significant. The classes are also fairly straightforward and intuitive to play, and the vehicle combat itself really does add to the good old Battlefield feeling. The only real issue that I see here now as a veteran gamer is that I lack the sense of community that I miss from the earlier days. And while I don't necessarily see this as a major flaw or as something that the game should inherently aim to solve, the absence of a server browser really does take some of the sense of community away from the game. I feel like it makes it more difficult to connect to others through the game, and the gameplay becomes a bit more detached. The other side of this coin is that the absence of the server browser does provide a significant benefit to people who just want to hop into a quick game or two and then log off again. It makes the act of firing up and playing the game a ton easier, and you no longer have to wait in queues for servers to free up. And from what I could tell, the game also doesn't punish you for leaving early. So whatever progress you make is applied immediately and is stored even if you leave halfway through the match. This means that you can log into the game for 5, 10 or 15 minutes, have an absolute blast, and then log back out without being held back by needing to stay for a full game. Now, I know we're only scratching the surface of the game here, and basing this fairly limited first impression solely on the first weekend of the beta, but so far, this game has me impressed. So, on to my initial question that I had going into all of this. Does this entry into the series have the potential to live up to the nostalgia from the earlier games? I think it does. When looking back at the experience from the earliest games, this feels like a proper comeback for the series. And maybe this will finally be the point where I return to the Battlefield series. And please consider leaving a like or comment below if you enjoyed this video or you have any thoughts on the new Battlefield 6 game or the contents of this video. And if you want to go fully bananas, do feel free to subscribe to stay tuned for any future content. Thanks for watching.